All right, my friends, welcome to episode 96 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I'm the Prof, Larry, at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. And over there is Anthony at SummerSpeak on Twitter. How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
96 episodes.
96,
man.
yeah.
Whew. We got
four more to 100. So.
Yeah, we'll get there. What is today? Middle of June? No, middle of July.
The day that Game of Thrones started again.
That's right, July 16th. That's right. I haven't seen it yet. You saw the cold open, and it was some crazy stuff happening, huh?
It was somewhat unexpected and very crowd pleasing.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I watched Battle of the Bastards today, and I was going to try to watch The Winds of Winter before the last two episodes of last season, just to refresh my memory. They're so good. Oh my!
They are so good.
So I can't wait.
So things are good. Been home alone with the kids for the weekend, so.
Oh, nice. Your wife is off gallivanting?
Yep, backpacking.
Oh, nice.
Pacific Northwest.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Yeah, so me and the kids, we've had a relatively uneventful weekend, and now I get to record. They're in bed, sleeping.
Playing some Pokemon?
No, they want to. My son really wants to see Final Fantasy 12.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, his tastes are.
He always it's the new thing. It's the new excitement.
Got it.
Because I'm pretty sure the story goes way over his head.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that how's that work with a kid?
Yeah, I don't know, but he wants to keep seeing it, so we play a little bit.
Well, my kid really enjoyed Storytime this week, where I read to her the story of localizing Final Fantasy 12.
Hey, I hadn't even heard. You posted that, and I read it too, and that was some fascinating shit.
Oh, it was awesome. I was reading it. My wife was like, "Wow, that's really interesting." I was like, "Yep." She's like, "That's like video game stuff." I was like, "Yep." It's not just like, playing the game. There's a ton of other cool stuff involved with video games.
Oh yeah, it's especially then. I had never heard the story how much freedom they had in localization, because the localization for 12 is pretty amazing.
Well, I feel like when the teams have more freedom, it allows them to do things that kind of resonate with the target country or target audience better. So, it's pretty cool.
But with that, we can get into our discussion, which is kind of revisiting. It's about revisiting games that you kind of bounce off of really hard. This ties in directly to the fact that I'm playing Final Fantasy 12 and you're back into Dragon Age Inquisition.
Right. Hard. Real hard.
And like, for all I talk about 12, when it first came out in 2006, I think my wife got farther than me. Like, I bounced off of it and like, I put like 5 hours in and bounced off hard.
Oh, I thought for some reason you finished it. Okay.
I have.
Oh,
4 years ago, I realized, I'm like, man, I haven't really gotten that far into the game. Like, why didn't I play this a ton? And like 4 years ago, I learned of it was after a replay of like Tactics or something, and really liking Matsuno's work, the story and director of Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy Tactics and Vagrant Story. And well, why? I should give this another shot. And I learned about the International Zodiac Job System version of the game. Right.
That's right.
And so I found this whole way to patch I made a ROM out of my copy, downloaded the Japanese only ROM for the International Zodiac Job System version. And there's a fan-made patch thing that you can run that will merge the ROM, will basically take all the English and localization out of the US version and put it into this like International Zodiac Job, the Japanese version. Right. It's not perfect. They get all the voice acting and stuff, and there's a few menu issues for some like custom stuff that happens in the game that they couldn't get. But for the most part, fully playable game. I put like 150 hours into that version.
Oh my God. Was it on the computer? Right.
Yep. Emulated on my computer, and I don't know why. I can think of reasons why it hooked me then. I feel like I was ready for that type of game.
Right.
And the small changes that they made to that version really appealed to the gamer I was like 4 or 5 years ago, and am now.
So the reason I kind of want to go back a little bit. The reason you bounced off it in 2006 after 5 hours was...
I just wasn't captivated that by it. I felt it was too slow.
Uh-huh.
Didn't feel invested in Vaughn, the main character.
Right. That seems like a common complaint.
Common thing, like, and then, I don't know, just like, the story, I needed story to grip me, and it just didn't grip me back then. I just felt like there was way too much, took way too long to do everything. I didn't fully understand the Gambit system. It was just slightly out of my grasp exactly how it was all working.
Right.
So, I mean, it was just this weird thing now when I look back on it, and, like, I love this game, and that how much I can admit at the time I was just, like, I didn't hate it, it just didn't grab me. It just was like, oh, yep, there's another one.
But you're someone who, obviously, you liked Final Fantasy Tactics, and did you also like Vagrant Story?
I did.
Okay, so that's interesting, because it's the same writer, right?
Same writer. It's just, I find those games much quicker to get to their point.
Okay, right.
I don't know. It was just a lot of stuff at the time. Like, I just don't feel like I could understand 12 from the story didn't captivate me right off, and then from a mechanic standpoint of the game, I don't think wanted to put the time into fully understanding it then. Like, there was other things I wanted to be doing.
Right.
This is 2006?
6, right. That's when it came out.
I'm pretty sure I was playing... Then, right? Yeah, I was pretty sure I was playing WoW at that point a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
There's just a number of things that I think... Because I look at this now, and it's just a very, like, where I was in my life, because it's not a bad game at all. Like, and I'm playing the newest, the remaster on PS4, the Zodiac Age.
Zodiac Age.
Which has all the stuff from the International Zodiac job system version, plus a couple other things. So
to play 150 hours, does that mean like 2 run-throughs, or?
Nope, it was 1 run-through. I was and you can call it grinding, but it was just, I'm so enamored with the mechanics of the game, now that I understand the jobs and the license board, and trying to get really cool weapons for everybody, and just trying to, like, there's something about the grinding in this game, and doing the grinding, that doesn't bother me. I really enjoy it.
Right.
And I'm finding that true even with playing it now for again on the PS4. Like,
and then with PS4, they've added, you're able to take 2 jobs per character. Does that change it up quite a bit for you? It
does, only in the fact that it just adds more depth to your customization of character.
Which like already was pretty deep, right?
Yeah, this game is super... Like, this is the thing. I can just sit forever, and you can just think about how you're going to build out your character and combine them. And now you can combine two jobs, and certain jobs can have pretty huge synergies. It's a game that allows you to break it, basically.
Right.
And I take that as as a designer and doing this for so long, I've come to the realization I really like games that give players the freedom, even if it breaks it and makes the game easy.
Right.
Like, good for the player for figuring it out and finding what's broken. It's a single player game, whatever. It's not unbalancing it for a multiplayer experience. It's just like, no, like, good on you. You figured out how to break the system. That's great.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because that's exactly the same thing I have to say about Dragon Age Inquisition. It is broken. There's 3 things that I've discovered through playing, but also through, reading forums and things like that. One, that the Vivienne, whatever you say her name, the mage, her knight enchanter skill tree is super OP, can just take down dragons. Another one, the sword and shield build for Cassandra, maybe even for Blackwall. You can solo dragons with her too. I'm a level 13 and I took down a dragon by myself. The rest of my party just died. And then there's an item dupe where so I beat the dragon, one of the dragons yesterday, and I got this pretty expensive like life heal or heal ring or whatever. It sells for 1,000 gold. If you go to Skyhold, go to the Undercroft to where your storage box is. Do you remember that? Okay. So whatever you put in storage, then you go to put it into your inventory. If you select it with X to put it into your inventory, instead of selecting with X, if you press X and circle at the same time, it brings it into your inventory and keeps it in the storage at the same time. So you end up creating multiples. So I'd get like a really cool piece of armor, and then I'd just dupe it 4 times and make sure all my party could wear it. And I was duping this really expensive ring. Like I duped it like 50 times, and I had 50,000 gold. So it just opened up the game a little bit because I could buy better weapons, and it's just totally broken. And obviously, I found that out from a forum. Forum post that was written
that's
like
a
2.5 years
bug.
ago. Well, so my point is though that I feel like they could have patched that out. Like that seems like a pretty well-known thing. And why would they leave it in there?
Honestly, it's a single player. They could care less. It's probably at that point. It's probably too expensive of a bug to fix. Like, it's actually. It may seem mundane. You're like, oh, they should be able to just fix it. And honestly, if it's this long, they're basically like, well, you have to. A person isn't accidentally going to do it.
Exactly.
They're going to want to do it, and that's on them. And it's really expensive for us to fix it. So screw it.
Well, so it's interesting, those two things. One, that's a bug. On the other side, like they've built the game in a way that you can make your characters OP.
Oh yeah.
And it's just those two things kind of made this experience more fun for me. Obviously one's kind of like cheating, but I don't really care. It's just fun to have like really cool weapons.
I would agree. But yeah, I mean, how far into it are you now?
Well, funny thing, I went back and looked at our trophies, and I found out that you and I bought this game at the same time. We both started this game at the same time, but you kept going and I stopped. But as you do a save file, it counts your hours.
Yeah.
And when I got back to it, I was at 30 hours. And honestly, I found out recently that you could get to Skyhold in like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, basically.
It took me 30 hours. I was in the hinterlands and Crestwood for that long. And then, so this was built before not save state, but rest mode. So if you put the game into rest mode, it doesn't stop counting the hours. So right now my save file is like 180 hours, even though I haven't played 180 hours. So it's, I put it in rest mode and, came back to it like 4 days later, and it's just like, whoa, my save file is like huge now. So I think I've put about 50 hours into the game.
That's been out forever. So what is the story mission you're on? What's the next story thing you have to do?
I don't know what the name. It's like the Abyss. Here Lies the Abyss.
Okay. I
just went and found someone's friend in Crestwood, and we basically found out that the Templars they thought they use this power. Man, I forget. It was like 10 hours ago that I did this, but it was like they were using this power to try to like fight the mages, but it's kind of consumed them, and now they're like servants of Corypheus or something like that.
I know Templars. Yes. Okay. You've got some fun stuff ahead of you.
Yeah. So I've been doing a ton of side missions. Like I went and was doing a bunch of crafting. Doing the item duping, of course, but then going after the dragon, and I kind of ran headlong against the dragon like 10 times, and I looked up how people beat it, and I found out that there's a build basically of Cassandra that you could do and just solo it. So I respec'd Cassandra and went and soloed the dragon. So it was about a 15-minute fight, but it was super rad. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I need to collect some more power. So I need 20 power to open up the Abyss quest, but I'm gonna get back on the main quest soon.
Yeah, so so if you haven't done Heroes Light, so you're just over halfway through the game.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. 60% of the way through the game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's 5 more mainline quests, including Here Lies the Abyss that you haven't done.
Right.
So then, you got some stuff.
And I still need to do the quest. I've really done all those.
Oh yeah, and they're worth doing. I love those quests.
Yeah, definitely. So I've just been doing a lot of I was collecting a bunch of shards because there's a place in the Forbidden Oasis where you can turn your shards in and get like elemental resistance or whatever, which I didn't really understand. And then I realized, it's shards from everywhere, not just this area. To unlock, you basically get to like the beast at the end and beat them, and you get this elemental resistance. Yep. So I spent a lot of time doing that, and a lot of time collecting resources to upgrade my potions and stuff. And then,
So what really made you come back to it, though?
So
it's 4 years. Roughly 4 years. Like, I can't see this one sitting on its shelf being like, man, jumping out at you saying, play me.
So, we both bought it at the end of November 2014 is when it came out. I played it then, and then came back to it at the end of 2015, and then didn't play it again until now. So it's basically been 2 years since I played it. And the thing that brought me back to it was I picked up the whole I don't know, like the Game of the Year edition or whatever in the last PSN sale for like $15 because I wanted to get the DLC for it, and then it was just cheaper to buy that whole package than having it digitally. But I was, with the kid, and I've been playing a bunch of small games, and the more that I played these small games, I just really wanted a story game again. I was just looking through my library, like, what story games do I have? And I kept coming to Dragon Age, and I was like, yeah, but that's going to be a long time. Or a long game. I was like, maybe I'll play Horizon. I'm like, well, that's a long game too. I'm like halfway through Dragon Age already. Why don't I just like go through my backlog and actually beat this game? And then I started playing, and I was like, it actually fit really well with like being with the kid because I get like an hour to play, probably like once a night when she's napping or whatever, and my wife's asleep. And I can do like a story mission, or I can do a grind, or I can go collect resources. Like it really fits well into like and I can play an hour and then put it away. And then the story is just, I don't know what has clicked this time. It's like the fourth time I've come back to Dragon Age Inquisition, but this is the first time where I'm like, oh, I understand the systems. I understand how all these different things fit together. I understand the war table now. I understand just everything makes sense. And before it was just so big and there was so much to do, I just didn't quite get.
Yeah, I would actually agree that it would be a complaint of the game for me, and the overall is it's a really good game, but it's too expansive.
Yeah, it was.
They went too far in kind of the direction of trying to go back for all the complaints they got of Dragon Age 2, and I think they just tried it takes too long to go places. The zones aren't refined enough to like. Right. There's like you can spend 30 hours in the hinterlands, not realizing that you really shouldn't spend 30 hours at the beginning in the hinterlands. You should drop in, spend a few hours, do what you need to do, and get out. Get to Skyhold, finish that up. Like, they tried to allow for so much freedom that I feel like it distracted from the overall like story that they were trying to tell.
And that's exactly what bounced me off of it so many times. And coming back this time, I just gave myself the freedom to not do everything. Like, I'll do what I want, and then that helped me, like, just go to different areas and do, like, things that interested me, and when I was no longer interested, I just went somewhere else. Kind of doing it piecemeal and not trying to, like, just, like, I don't know, clean up everything. Like, I was really trying to, like, get every single icon cleaned up in the hinterlands, and that just took forever, and that was just a waste. It just made the game not fun. So, looking at guides and stuff now for Dragon Age, I'm, watching some walkthroughs and just seeing how other people play. Everything's like number one tip: get out of the hinterlands.
Yeah, I mean, I went back to the hinterlands, and I did a bunch in the hinterlands later. It was just, I really focused on getting to Skyhold first off.
Yeah, I wish
getting basically through the prologue, because it is just a prologue.
Right.
Skyhold is the start of the main story. Honestly,
that's crazy. I spent 30 hours in the prologue of this game.
I kind of feel that way. Yeah, and that's why I'm like. Hopefully, there's a lot of rumors that Dragon Age 4 is in development. There's a lot of things pointing towards it. And I hope they're learning their lessons at the main BioWare, Edmonton, that let's try to learn from The Witcher. Because I think Witcher 3 came out close to this as well.
It was about 8 months later.
Yeah. Good. And a lot of people were like, man, this is so much better in its open world than Inquisition was.
Right.
And it's true. It's just because Witcher's side quests and stuff were very much more refined. There's been writers from Dragon Age that have talked about how much they were like that Witcher 3 blew them away, and they are like, we have a lot to learn. So
I hope they did, because I don't know. I definitely want. I want to play more Dragon Age. Like, I have all of them on the PC, right?
Yeah.
So I want to go back and play the other ones eventually. But the more I play this, the more I'm just like, I wish I could play this on my Switch.
I can understand that.
Portable. It makes me want. I didn't think I would buy Skyrim for the Switch, but now that I'm just like, I'm definitely getting Skyrim for the Switch, because I think that would scratch the itch.
Skyrim would be perfect just because you could pick it up and put it down in small bites. Then
exactly.
And that game works pretty well that way. So, important question for Dragon Age Inquisition. Who are you romancing?
I actually stumbled into romancing Josephine.
Good choice. That was my romance option.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, yeah.
I met the voice actress at PAX 2 years ago.
Did you tell her you romanced her?
I did. She laughed a lot. She's really funny. Really funny person. She worked at Amazon back then, actually.
Oh, wow.
She was, or not then, she was done. She was actually doing voice acting all the time, but she was not an voice actress, when she got cast for this role. Like,
how did she get cast?
She was really big into the Dragon Age fandom and did like cosplay and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I guess that through connections, she was able to get an audition.
Interesting.
Like, because she would do, you wouldn't know her. She cosplays as the pirate lady from Dragon Age 2. I can't remember her name. So,
okay.
And she could do the voice really well. So,
oh wow,
it's just really funny because, yeah, you can just drop into Josephine's voice, drop of a hat, just like boom, she's in. And you're like, that's weird. That is really weird. And she doesn't look dissimilar from Josephine. They clearly modeled the character slightly after her.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's just funny. It's just bizarre.
I just had a lot of conversations with her, and I was just like, I'm playing a female lead, or my Inquisitor is female, and then it just happened. I was like, okay, like I don't know what the consequences are of having romances, so I'm just going to do it.
You can only have one.
Aha, so I'm locked in.
I'm pretty sure. I think there's points you can break it, but for the most part,
that's fine.
I don't think you can multi-romance in the game.
Is there any end game?
In the game?
Yeah. Like, is there any end game consequence or reason for having the romance?
I don't think so. Not necessarily. Okay. I don't think it affects the overall story.
Cool. Yeah, I think this is a game that, like, now that I really get it, I'd probably do another playthrough. I was like, I don't think it's, like, economically viable for, like, EA to say we're making a Switch port of this 3-year-old game or 4-year-old game, but I'll probably play it again eventually. I don't know, now that I get it and kind of have a more streamlined experience.
I can totally understand that.
Yeah, but like much later because there's other things I want to play for first. Like after I was thinking about when I finish this, I'd probably jump to Mass Effect Andromeda, which I got for $15 this week. Then I realized that's 2 BioWare games in a row. I'm not sure if I want to do that. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know they're quite different, but
they are different. Although I wonder if Andromeda also has the same kind of too expansive problem. I've kind of heard that some of its planets are just really, really big, but not a lot going on in the middle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But it's interesting to come back to games years later and finally get it.
Yeah, it's weird to like.
Because I think partially with those, like with both games, Final Fantasy XII for me, which was, let's say, like 8 years later from when I originally played it, before really getting it, and it was just like I don't think like the game hasn't changed all that much. Like I did play a slightly different version of the game, but if you didn't like Final Fantasy XII in the first place, Zodiac Age and anything like that isn't going to make it a better, like, you're not going to magically like it.
Right.
It's still Final Fantasy XII.
Right.
So it's just weird because I feel like it's mostly more that I changed over that time period in the years. Like how I approach games and what I'm looking for and what I'm willing to put up with changed.
I think that's exactly what happened to me too, where when I started it then, I mean, in 2014, I think I beat 1 or 2 games. Like I didn't really beat games, I just bounced around. And as I've kind of progressed in the last few years, I've become someone who sticks with games longer and beats longer games and enjoys longer games and longer experiences. So it's definitely something that's made me appreciate Dragon Age a lot more than I did then.
Yeah. And I think you're a person that, of course, appreciates good writing. And I feel like when BioWare is on point, especially their main team at Edmonton, they're really good.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what I like about 12. Like, I'm finding the writing in Final Fantasy 12 is really good. And the localization article about how the U.S. localization happened to 12 and how much freedom they had. So it just made that even more interesting because when I play through this, like the writing and the voice acting is so good and so unexpected in so many ways. And it just works. It works so well for the US translation. And you can switch to the Japanese in the Zodiac Age on the fly. I could just switch it back to Japanese. And I don't like the Japanese. It's
really, you don't?
Like the stuff that they talk in the article. It's very run-of-the-mill Japanese. It doesn't have a lot of the dialects. And like I never could place Fran, the Vera, the bunny-eared person.
Yeah, right.
Like, I could never place her accent, and then reading that article saying that they based it off Icelandic accent. And it totally fits. And they're like, all the Viera have Icelandic kind of accents going on in the US version. And the writing isn't basically a one-for-one translation. They, like, translate it to Old English somewhat.
Right.
Like, and it works really well.
So if you play Japanese voice, you get the subtitles.
Yes.
And then the subtitles is different than the English.
No, it's the
voices.
English subtitles.
Oh, okay. So it's what the English voice actors are saying.
Yes. It's not.
Okay.
But it's not what the Japanese are exactly saying.
Right. And the tone, the voices are not.
The voices are just, the voices are just not, they don't have different dialects of Japanese. Yeah. Like, It's all standard Japanese with different tone based upon how they wanted to make the character act and be. Like, it's just interesting in that regard. And there was an article by the two directors of the game. So Matsuno wasn't credited as director. He was story and something concept original. Because he left about 2 years before a year and a half before the game came out, 2 years. He left Square completely. Like, but the two directors of it gave a big interview, and they talked about a lot of stuff that with it and how its development was pretty trouble, took extra time to get out, and it was overlooked by a lot of people when it came out. Because it came out like 6 months before the PS3 came out.
Oh, so at the very end of the PS2 life cycle.
Very late with the PS2. It was supposed to be out like a year and a half, 2 years earlier. Like, it got delayed so much. Yeah. And it's definitely like one of those ones that critically, I mean, the original, not the Zodiac Age, the original was sitting at like a 92 Metacritic.
Oh, wow.
It just didn't sell that well overall. Like, people just kind of forgot about it.
Right, because the new hotness was coming out.
Yep, but now everyone can experience it again, and yeah, it holds up. The writing holds up, neat characters. It's weird now, like, one of the things that you would get in, like, in Dragon Age Inquisition, because their combat systems are very similar.
Yeah.
Is that in Dragon Age you get a banter between your party members. Yep. There's none of that in Final Fantasy. I mean, it's so old. Like, that wasn't even a concept in 2006. Like, what are you talking about? Party members don't talk to each other outside of cutscenes. Right,
exactly.
So
I really like that banter.
The banter is really good. So it can just be kind of quiet between your party members. Running around, but that's just, you have to chalk that up to, this is when it was made. Like, this is...
Right. Well, at least they gave you that 2 times and 4 times speed for some of the grindy parts.
I use that quite a bit. Especially if I know where I'm going or if I'm just grinding. I don't...
Right.
feel like I have my gambits set up. It's like, I don't care. Like, my party is just going to wreck everything.
Yeah. Well, and there was I listened to a podcast about this, and they were saying it's really cool. Like, emulators kind of introduce the 2 times, 4 times speed, but when you do it on an emulator, it also speeds up the music. But here, because it's baked into the game, it doesn't speed up the music, even though it speeds up the gameplay.
Nope.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Music, audio stays how you like. It only is your movement in combat. Like, cutscenes go at normal speed, dialogue goes at normal speed, the whole thing. So it's nice. I mean, it's a good version. I'm happy that I came around to this game, because even playing it now, I love it. I love this game so much.
That's great. Well, it's definitely one that I'm going to pick up before the end of the year, because it's just the critical reception has just been so great, and hearing you talk about it and other people I follow on Twitter, just people that I know are playing it, just freaking love it. So
yeah,
I want in.
And with that, I'm back solo for just a few news items this week, so we can dig into this, and then we can get to what we're playing. Although you've heard of what I've been playing this entire week. All my time when I haven't been trying to ship a game has been in Final Fantasy XII. But shockingly, shipping the game this time has been pretty. This is one of the smoothest launches I've done with the game so far. So thumbs up to that. I actually get some time to play some games that I actually like. And so first piece of news is not shocking to me, and I expect we're going to be hearing a number of other games doing this exact same thing, but Ni no Kuni 2 got pushed from this fall into Q1, I think January, February, next year, 2018, and this is only a highlight to me because I expect we're going to see a few more, probably 2 or 3 more games get pushed the same way. One, because their development, they just want more time, need more time to be polished to stand out and be a good game. And then the other main reason, because this fall is getting crowded and there's a better chance for higher sales in Q1. This has been going on for a while. It's a pretty standard thing in the industry. It's just, this is about the time of year you'll start hearing about it. We're about 6 months, 5-6 months out. Development teams are looking at their schedules. They're kind of going like, okay, this is the date we have to hit. Okay, this is a retail date. Okay, this is the date we have to be done for manufacturing. And then this is how much time we need for QA, et cetera, et cetera. And you just plan out. And then a lot of times you already notice that you're past the point of where you can actually ship on that date. At least a bug-free or the game that you want to make. So a lot of these teams that you see push will actually, they'll have the financial support to be able to do it. And usually big publishers will want better sales rather than putting out a broken game. So Ni no Kuni 2 is just the first one. I expect a few more. Certain ones won't slip for sure. COD won't slip. Battlefront 2 won't slip. Just basically Activision, EA, those type of companies just don't have a lot of leeway for those big tentpole which they've set up for the fall release. They don't have leeway on that. Things that aren't their huge tentpole, like they're expecting for mass audience in that time frame, can slip. Like it's a reason why you see like Bethesda will slip Fallouts and things like that. Like they know the audience will still be there, even if they hold off for like 6 months. So that's the first piece of news I saw. And then the prof sent me a piece of news, and I hope it's still up because there's a good chance this is going to get completely cease and desisted from Capcom. But someone made a Mega Maker, which is a Mega Man Mario Maker style thing, but it's something you just make it's all on the PC. Mega Maker is a fan game all about creating your own Mega Man levels and sharing them with the world. So this looks kind of awesome, and it's really cool that a fan had this drive to do this. But holy crap, they are so opening themselves to just being immediately taken down and litigated against, which is sad. I actually think this would probably be a thing where if Capcom had any good sense, they would find the people that made this, say, okay, you're using our branding, you're using our name, you say that we still own it, but you using our stuff to do this. So can we work out a way to make this legitimate? Because it looks really cool. It's mega-maker.com. Anything that allows people to be creative in games. I mean, you look at the Mario Maker stuff that's come out in the past few months. It's, since it's come out, and even the stuff that I've seen in the past few months, it's just incredible. You're giving basically people a toolbox to be creative. And anytime you do that, you find people who love that medium and can be creative in it. And so this is just a free way to do that with Mega Man. And I do know a lot of people love Mega Man, and specifically Mega Man levels. So it's a cool thing. I really actually want it to be legitimate, and I would hope to God someone on their team or Capcom would reach out and try to work out some solution to make this thing a reality without just a simple cease and desist and this is going to go away forever. Although the genie is out of the box on this, even if this site goes away and you can't get it, I have a feeling that the maker's going to be out there, and you're going to always have a community that's going to produce levels for it. So it's a cool idea, cool concept. Every time, though, that you use this and that you see a team that's using art and naming from another company, that team, you guys got to be careful. I don't know how good Capcom's lawyers are, so good luck to you. You have made something that looks really cool and probably will get a good community around it. So good luck. Hopefully you can work something out with Capcom eventually and just allow this to be. But until then, who knows? The other news, EVO has been going on this week, which seems to have been drowning out a lot of other news this weekend based on my Twitter feed that has been going to town with, which has basically been EVO news. As of today, new Doctor Who news that they now is going to have a female doctor, Jodie Whittaker, I'm super excited about. And now Game of Thrones tweets as of this night, so I can't look at Twitter until I finish this episode and can watch Game of Thrones. But EVO itself, I'm not a huge esports person. I've watched some of it, and especially fighting games, I don't have a good grasp of. But based on my Twitter feed, people are very excited about EVO. I've seen that Guilty Gear Xrd Revision 2 was in one of the games in the tournament, and I want to try to track down some videos of that and watch that. And I'm looking at trying to understand the Smash Brothers stuff. I've tried before and have a hard time following it, and so I saw a lot of people really excited about it, so I'm curious about that. I did see the next EVO is going to be in Japan in January, and ARMS is going to be one of the featured games. So go Nintendo for getting another game into the EVO Championship. We'll see how ARMS does as a spectator sport. Hopefully well. It'd be great for Nintendo. So with that, I don't think there's a whole lot other news this week. And now we'll take it back to the prof with the one other game he's playing that isn't Dragon Age Inquisition or Final Fantasy XII for myself, because all I've played this week is Final Fantasy XII when not trying to ship a game. So, check out that. I'll switch over to that in just a second. And then once I finish this episode up, I'm going to go watch some Game of Thrones, and I'm sure hopefully we'll get some discussion of that next week when the prof and I both watched it. So, on to what we're playing.
This week we're playing some other games too, eh?
Are we?
Is that the only game you're playing this week?
That's all I've dumped time into this week.
Okay, well, I'll jump really quickly into the what we're playing. I have one other game I'm playing this week, and it's actually I went back to Shovel Knight.
Oh, I saw some screenshots of that.
Oh my god! So when my kid's sleeping, we have her in the pack and play it downstairs, and it's right in front of the TV. So at night when she's sleeping and I'm not ready to go to bed yet, I'm not going to turn on the TV because it'd be like right in her face. So I just play on the Switch. And I got back into Spectre of Torment, and it's amazing. Like the platforming game that they've created with this, it's an add-on to Shovel Knight, but they've just remixed all the levels. It's like a prequel, basically, to Shovel Knight, and it's just such smart platforming. Every single level has a different twist on how you have to use the main character's abilities to traverse the level. And it's all about the platforming in the level, because when you get to the boss, each boss has a different way that they fight. It's almost like Mega Man, but it's a lot easier than the level. So I've just been really enjoying going back and playing that in contrast to playing Dragon Age. It's just kind of, I don't know, more self-contained, more contained experience. But there's a really interesting story to this that wasn't. I'm trying not to spoil it for you, okay. But that wasn't in Shovel Knight. They've done a really good job of adding like cutscenes and like this backstory to one of so Spectre of Torment, you're playing as one of the enemies from Shovel Knight. He's the main character, and you're playing as him, and you learn who he was before and how he became this enemy and this guy that he is. And it's just you're learning how all the enemies were put together to battle Shovel Knight, and it's crazy. There's so much like fan service for Shovel Knight in this, plus just it's impeccable platforming. And it's I was thinking back to when you said that you weren't really like a Mega Man fan, or at least not really good at those games or whatever.
Not
but
good.
It's kind of
like I have fond memories of the original Mega Mans. I really liked Mega Man X. I think I beat Mega Man X. I'm just not.
Oh, okay.
As I got older, my reflexes got worse. And yeah. I'm just not good. I try those games. I'm just really not good with like 2D platformers like that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about, because I want you to get this game, or I'm going to get this game for you when you get Switch. And I was thinking, I hope he enjoys it, because it's such sublime platforming. It's such an homage to Mega Man and DuckTales. Like, just put those two things together.
That's insane. I
it's
loved DuckTales
really,
as a kid.
really good. Okay, yeah, it's super good. The Shovel Knight is more of the DuckTales, and this new one is just something just different and just. I don't know. This is such a good Kickstarter where they just add all these tiers and they're just delivering all these tiers. They've been working on this Shovel Knight game forever, and it's just like such great quality. I can't wait to see what they do next.
Awesome.
But it's just I forgot how like a lot of the modern games are just like really involved, lots of story, lots of open world, lots of collecting and all this stuff, and just to come back to like a not simple but like a I can't think of a better word. Simple platformer where it's just you're platforming and traversing this 2D stage basically. It's just something really satisfying about it. So I've enjoyed that a lot.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's what I've been doing this week. Besides keeping baby alive.
Yeah. Good job at that. Another week.
Yeah.
Another live. Another week. Good job. Thumbs up.
She's 3 weeks old today. Every time that we record, it'll be another week because she was born on a Sunday.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Super cool. Well, I better get down to baby. So
okay.
We'll sign off here. I know you're going to do the news in the middle of these two things. So the audience will hear you alone in between these two things we recorded here. But
yeah.
Are you watching Game of Thrones tonight?
Of course I am. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I can get mad at the Polygon Kuchera most cynical of takes.
Wait, what?
There was a Polygon article, like they posted a review, but they first posted another thing that was talking about, like, the line basically was an editorial that was, God, I don't even remember what it was, but it was super cynical take on, like, that it's just fan service.
The whole episode?
Yeah, they're just like, it just gives fans what they want, and it's just trying too hard. And I'm like, this is the most cynical take ever.
Well, I guess the show can't win because for 6 seasons, I think it's 6 seasons, maybe 7 seasons. No, 6. Like, it's given fans almost nothing of what they wanted.
Yeah, it's just one of those takes where it's like, oh my god, people really like, I guess this is the only thing you can say about it is it's trying too hard to make people like it.
People already like it. They don't need to make people like it.
Yeah, I don't know. It really got, I saw the tweet and I was like, seriously, this is... why do we have to be so cynical? I didn't read the article. It was just more of a like, stop being cynical, people. Like,
I loaded up Twitter earlier and I saw one thing about the cold open. And I was like, I gotta get off social media because I do not want anything spoiled for me. I know the title's called Dragonstone, so I know where they're going. So,
So you get to watch that at some point tonight, whenever baby's sleeping.
Exactly, probably in a couple hours.
Yeah. So, well, get down to your kid.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening to us. This was episode 96. I'm at Prop Plays Games. He's at Summerspeak. I'm going to go keep my kid alive.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Later.